I can't see the camera. Someone told me the red light is on, so I'm just gonna talk to the darkness, if that's all right. For 50 years, people called me God, not to my face, usually, but I heard it in the hallways of the hospital. Chen is playing God again. Dr. Chen fixed the unfixable. Dr. Chen doesn't lose. I liked it. I loved it. I looked at these hands. Well, I can't see them now, but I remember them. Steady, ruthless, precise. I believed, I truly, deeply believed, that if I was just smart enough, if I was just disciplined enough, I could beat chaos. I could force life to do exactly what I wanted it to do. I planned every second of my day. I planned every second of my children's lives. I planned the exact trajectory of my career, my retirement, my legacy. I thought control was love. And now I'm 85 years old. I'm sitting in a chair I can't see, in a house that's too quiet. And I realized something terrifying about 3 years ago. I didn't hold my life together. I choked it to death. If you are watching this, and you think that anxiety you feel, that tightness in your chest, is going to go away once you finally fix everything, once you finally get everyone to behave, please, listen to an old blind man. You are building a prison, and you're locking yourself inside. I was a cardiothoracic surgeon. You have to understand, in that world, perfection isn't a goal. It's the baseline. If you are 99% perfect, someone dies. So I brought that intensity home. My wife Elena, God, she was soft. She was like water. And I was stoned. I used to come home at 9:00 p.m., exhausted, and the first thing I do is run a white glove over the counters. Metaphorically, mostly, but sometimes literally. If there were toys on the floor, I didn't see children playing. I saw disorder. I saw entropy. And I hated entropy. I had this script in my head. My son was going to be a lawyer. My daughter, Maya, she was going to follow me. She had the hands for it. She was going to be a surgeon. We would be the Chen dynasty. I told myself I was doing it for them. That's the great lie of the control freak, isn't it? I'm doing this for your own good. I'm pushing you because the world is hard. But that wasn't true. I wasn't protecting them from the world. I was protecting myself from fear. See, I was terrified, deep down, beneath the expensive suits and the surgical mask. I was a frightened little boy. I thought that if I let go of the steering wheel for 1 second, the car would crash. I thought if I didn't maximize every potential, I was a failure. I ran my family like an operating theater, sterile, efficient, cold. We went on vacations, sure. But I had an itinerary printed out, 800 breakfast, U900's museum, and 30 hike. If it rained, if the kids were tired, I didn't pivot, I got angry. I felt personally insulted by the rain. I thought I was the master of my fate. I thought I was the captain. I didn't know I was just a man shouting at a hurricane. The cracks started, well, they started with Maya. She was 22, bright, beautiful. She came into my study one evening. I remember the smell of the old books, the ticking of the grandfather clock. That clock was always so precise. She told me she wasn't applying to medical school. She wanted to paint. She wanted to go to art school in Italy. I didn't yell. Yelling is messy. I was surgical. I told her that she was throwing her life away. I told her art was a hobby for idle people, not a life for a Chen. I told her, I said, if you walk out that door to chase a fantasy, don't expect me to pay for it. And don't expect to come back when you fail. I thought I was calling her bluff. I thought I was applying pressure to a wound to stop the bleeding. She looked at me. She didn't cry, she just looked disappointed, not angry, just sad for me. She left. She actually left. And because I was a stubborn, controlling fool. I didn't call. For 10 years, I waited for her to crawl back. I waited for her to admit I was right, because being right was more important to me than being a father. Then Alina got sick, ovarian cancer, stage 3 by the time we found it. And this is the part that haunts me when the lights go out. I didn't treat her like my wife. I treated her like a patient. I treated her cancer like a puzzle I had to solve. I researched every trial drug. I fired doctors I didn't like. I monitored her vitals. I obsessed over her diet. I remember one night. She was in the hospital bed we set up in the living room. She was so thin. She reached out her hand to hold mine. She just wanted to hold hands. And I looked at her wrist and said, "Alana, your IV line is kinked." And I fixed the tube. I fixed the tube. I didn't hold the hand. She died 3 weeks later. I had managed her illness perfectly, and I had completely missed her goodbye. After she died, the house was empty. Maya was in Florence. My son was across the country, calling only on holidays. And then, the universe decided to play its final joke on me. It started with a blur, just a smudge in the center of my vision. I wiped my glasses. It didn't go away. Macular degeneration, aggressive. I am a man who lived by his eyes. My precision was my currency, and suddenly, the world started to dissolve. I did what I always did. I fought. I spent a fortune. I flew to specialists in Switzerland. I demanded answers. I screamed at doctors who were half my age, telling them they were incompetent. I tried to control the biology of my own eyes. But the darkness kept coming. It didn't care about my resume. It didn't care about my money. It didn't care that I was Dr. James Chen. Eventually, the day came where I couldn't read the newspaper. Then I couldn't see the faces on the television. Then, I couldn't navigate my own hallway. I sat in this chair, this exact chair, for months. I was angry, furious. I felt betrayed. I had done everything right! I exercised, I ate clean, I planned, I saved. Why was this happening? I was suffering. And I don't just mean the blindness. I mean the agony of helplessness. There is a concept in Buddhism. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. Anicca, impermanence. I was trying to freeze a river. I spent 80 years trying to freeze the water so I could walk on it safely. And when the water kept flowing, when it broke my dam, I blamed the water. I realized, sitting in the dark, that my pain wasn't coming from the blindness. It was coming from my resistance to it. I was fighting reality, and reality always wins. Always. It took me a year to surrender. It happened on a Tuesday. I don't know why. I was just tired. I was tired of being angry. I sat here, and I just said out loud to the empty room, "Okay, I don't like this, but this is what is." I stopped trying to fix the unfixable, and something strange happened. The anxiety, that tight fist in my chest that I had carried since medical school, it unclenched. Just a little. I started listening. When you can't see, you have to listen. I listened to the wind in the trees outside, really listened. I listened to the sound of my own breath. I realized that life isn't a block of marble that you carve into a statue. It's a river. You can't steer the river. You can only steer your canoe. Sometimes the current is fast. Sometimes there are rocks. Sometimes you go over a waterfall. Screaming at the waterfall doesn't stop gravity. I called Maya. I didn't use an assistant. I dialed the number myself, misdialing 3 times because my fingers couldn't see the buttons. When she answered, I didn't tell her to come home. I didn't ask if she was successful. I said, "Maya, I'm blind, and I'm sorry." She cried. I cried. She told me she's happy. She's not a famous artist. She teaches art to children in a small village. And she is happy. 30 years ago, I would have seen that as a failure, a waste of potential. Now, I hear the joy in her voice, and I realize she understood something at 22 that it took me 85 years to learn. She was riding the river. I was trying to pave over it. I still have days where I want to scream. I still reach for a glass and knock it over, and I feel that old rage bubbling up, the desire to impose order. But I catch myself, I take a breath, I let the glass be broken. If you are listening to this, if you are the person who checks the tracking number on a package 10 times a day, if you are the parent who is terrified your child is going to make a mistake, if you are the person who can't sleep because you're replaying tomorrow's meeting in your head, please Stop. You are hurting yourself. You are holding onto a hot coal, expecting it to burn the world, but it's only burning your hand. You cannot control the future. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the cells in your body or the stock market or the weather. The only thing you can control is how you greet the wave when it hits you. Don't wait until the lights go out to appreciate the day. Don't wait until you lose your hands to hold someone. Let go of the steering wheel. The car drives itself anyway. My name is James. I'm just an old man sitting in the dark, but for the first time in my life, I think I can finally see a pause. If this helped you let go, even just a little bit, I'd appreciate it if you shared it with someone else who's holding on too tight. And maybe subscribe if you want to hear more from an old surgeon who finally put down the knife. Take care of yourselves and let it flow.